let's start. All right, let's talk about the Contemporary Japan program and Kwansei Gakuin University. First, a couple of things about the university. Kwansei Gakuin University was founded in 1889 in Kobe by a Methodic Episcopal Church south of the United States, with the aim to educate young minds based on Christian principle. Kwansei Gakuin University has since grown into a leading private, comprehensive, and integrated educational institution. Mastery for service is the school motto and reflects the idea that all its members have to master their God-given abundant gifts to serve their neighbors, society, and the world. All right, it's a pretty good aim in today's world, I think. So as I said, our university is a leading comprehensive private university. From March 2021, it will have 14 undergraduate schools and 14 graduate schools. We offer 3 degree programs entirely taught in English and have about 25,000 students, hopefully in the next few months on campus. We have about 900 plus international students also with us. We are proud to send about 2,000 students every year to our partner universities. And by the way, that's #1 in Japan. We have about 270, I think it turned to 80 lately, partner universities overseas. And we've been designated as a top global university in Japan, which means we receive government funding to help internationalization on campus and throughout the world. All right, our location. I don't know how familiar you are with the geography of Japan. We are located in the Kansai area, which is kind of a south part of Japan. We are close to Nara, Kyoto, Kobe, Osaka, and fairly close to Hiroshima. So it's a great location for touristy spots and this kind of things. The city is known as a city for living, culture, and education. We have a lot of universities around here. It's easy access to big cities and main tourist spots. And we were named #2 most livable city in Japan in 2019. It is a great place to be at, and we hope you'll be able to join us soon. Talk more specifically about our main campus, where most exchange students will be at. It's called the Nishinomiya Uegahara campus. It's located in a quiet residential area. And the campus, as you will see in the next video, was built on Spanish mission style building. It's very white, it's very abundant of lush greenery. There's gardens and ponds and a whole bunch of things. It's a great place to be at. And we are named the most beautiful campus in Japan regularly. All right, let's have a look at campus. As I said, close to big cities. It's an open campus concept, so we have a lot of people coming and just picnicking on the ground. As you can see, it's very, very white. It kind of reminds me of my idea of California, too. We even have palm trees on campus for some reason, so it's a great place to be at. If you have the opportunity, come in the spring, beautiful with the cherry blossoms. All right, Let's now go more specifically into the program that we offer for exchange students. We call it the Contemporary Japan Program and was designed for exchange students. It has two main features, offers two study tracks, and we're going to go into details for this, as well as an extensive elective course list that we'll have a look at as well. The first track is called the Japanese language track. It's very obviously focused on language learning with comprehensive intensive courses aiming to develop the students' four basic language skills: reading, speaking, writing, and listening, based on students' actual level. So that means there will be a language assessment test before the beginning of each semester. The one requirement that we have for this track is that you can read, write, and pronounce the two Japanese phonic alphabets by the time you arrive in Japan. It's not too high of a requirement, I don't think. If you focus over like a month or so, you should be able to master those two wonderful alphabets and get into the track. All right.
As soon as I saw the Japanese language track, I was sold as a way to not only study the electives that I had to do for my home university, but being able to intensely study Japanese in a Japanese setting. That was a wonderful opportunity. We don't have those opportunities in Denmark.
As he said, it's a great intensive way of learning Japanese in short time. Yeah. So if you are a Japanese major or if you have a Japanese language requirement, this is really the track that you want to go for. The second track is called the Modern Japan track, and it is mainly focused on learning about Japan through English talk courses. This is a track that we created because some of our partners were like, we don't need the language requirement, and students won't get transfer credits for this. So we put the Japanese language courses to the side, and this is offered for students who are maybe not too interested in learning the language, but still coming to Japan and learn about Japan. Right, yeah, it's seminar style English medium classes. And the only requirement is that you have TOEFL IBT score of 71 or higher. It is a soft requirement, but as you all are going to a US-based university, you probably cleared that out already. All right, let's have a look at a student testimony.
I chose Kwansei Gakuin University because it is centrally located in the Kansai area. It is very close to Osaka, Kyoto, and Kobe, making it a great location for travel. And I chose the MJT track as I am more interested in Japanese culture and society.
I chose to study the Modern Japan track at Kwansei Gakuin because it ticked all of my boxes for the university that I wanted to study at in Japan, particularly that it had a really good international studies program. In Australia, I am studying international relations and foreign languages, so this program in Kangaku is just perfect for that.
I chose Kwansei Gakuin University because I felt that it would allow me to get more done on my major university of philosophy with an emphasis in law, and I was also able to take Japanese language courses in Japanese, and that would help me get farther in my Japanese minor.
All right, so as those students said, the Modern Japan track basically allows you to make your own program since there is only one mandatory course. You can add electives that we're going to talk about in a few seconds to your liking and make your own study abroad experience. All right, the second feature, as I said, is an extensive elective course list. Which include elective Japanese language courses, Thai and Japanese, of course. You'll be able to maybe add on something. You're not feeling great about your reading skills. You can add a reading course. You're not feeling great about, I don't know, your speaking or your listening. You can do the same as well. Or the contrary, you're feeling really strong about your listening skills and you want to work on those. You can do that as well.
for one of my classes, we have it's a creative writing class in Japanese, so that's a bit of a challenge for me. It's a really interesting course that I would really recommend for people wanting to study Japanese at Kangaku and kind of applying all of the grammar and the vocab that they know. It's a great course to move out of your comfort zone if you haven't really studied creative writing before, but it's also a really beautiful course because it allows you to use your creativity in a place where there's boundless amounts of creativity to be found.
So Japanese language courses, electives are a great way to better your Japanese. And those courses are also available for students who chose the Modern Japan track. So yeah, it's pretty cool. All right. Mainly, we also offer Japan studies courses. Those are to offer students a deeper understanding of Japan with elective courses from 5 subcategories: arts and culture, linguistics, politics and international relations, society, business and economy. You'll get the opportunity to learn together with KGU degree-seeking students, as those are open to our local students as well, as long as they clear a minimum English language requirement. A few popular choices within that category are Japanese traditional theater, marketing communication, Japanese legal system, Japanese dialects, environment issues in modern Japan. This is a testimony from a student about the Ethic in Japan course. I find this course amazing because we take the mindsets of each of our different nationalities and compare them to Japan. We get to learn about the sense of morality that exists here, which is something that I really wanted to learn when I came here. This is very true since we get students from over 40 countries taking all those courses together. You not only get the mindset of Japan and what Japan is doing, but you're also talking with people from all over the world and exchanging ideas and mindsets. So it's pretty cool. This, for example, is the traditional Japanese art course. Through that course, you actually get to try out a lot of Japanese art. This class was particularly the Ikebana flower arrangement class, where you actually get to understand the theory and also practice what you just learned. This is the Japanese law class. It's actually pretty cool class because you get to go to our mock trial court. We have a law school on campus, and you'll actually go to the mock court and conduct a trial and accuse yourselves of doing some awful things and try to defend each other. So it's a pretty cool class that we have here. We are also working with a number of undergraduate and graduate schools on campus so they can share their English taught courses. Specifically, we're working with the School of Economics, Policy Studies, Human Welfare Studies, and International Studies. And if you happen to be a graduate level student, we're also working with our Institute of Business and Accounting that's offering an MBA course. All right. Talk more specifically about the academic affairs side. Course load, international students in Japan have to take more than 10 hours of classes per week, which means that you will have to select 7 courses, at least. Hence, the minimum of credits is 7 and the maximum is 24. We do recommend that students usually take around 13 PG credits per semester, depending on how they transfer back to the US. I believe you have a minimum of 12 credits to be a full-time student in the US, so that would probably be my guess. All right. Accommodations, let's talk accommodations. We offer 2 options to students. Homestay is something that we've been working on for 40 years, and it's run in-house. We're really proud of that. And it gives students an invaluable understanding of the modern Japanese family through a homestay experience. Homestay, however, is not for everybody, and I like to point that out really. It is recommended for students who are extremely motivated in using Japanese every day and are highly adaptable. Yeah, it's not for everybody, so please keep that in mind. Let's have a look at a student testimony. Oops.
When I get to Japan, I choose to live with host family. It's really interesting because my family only speak Japanese and I don't speak Japanese at all at first when I came here. Bit by bit, I get used to it faster, and I really encourage people to do host family because if you go to host family, you will understand more traditions and cultures. And of course, you will have fun every day because there is always something to do.
All right. If homestay is not for you, we of course offer a dormitory experience as well, which is great because you get to live with people from various culture and various backgrounds and make strong international friendships. And it's a great way to spend your time at KGU as well. It is recommended for students who value personal space and independence, especially. Let's have a look at a student testimony.
So I'm currently staying at the International Residence 5 with people from all around the world. So back in the UK, I live with people that grew up in the UK, in England, and Ireland. So that's the most furthest people you would find. But over here, it's people from Brazil to people from Australia, the US, different places. And it's interesting. It's like a massive cultural hub where people have different opinions. You're quite independent.
Yeah, so homestay or dormitory. For those of you who are not keen on staying in KGU arranged accommodation, you can also try to find your own. It's not as easy as it seems in Japan to find your own accommodation, and we don't really recommend it for students who maybe don't have Japanese language abilities, but it is still an option. Okay. Let's talk about support on campus. Each exchange student will be paired with one or more degree-seeking students that we call KG buddies, and you'll be able to rely on them for language practice and everyday life support. Apart from that, we also have a big student group on campus called the GS Network that is in charge of organizing intercultural events and support campus life in English. Those kind of events are, of course, pre-COVID, and we are hoping that we'll be able to go back to those very, very soon. All right, extracurricular activities. That is a great thing to talk about. We have hundreds of clubs and circles active on campus. As you can see, a very big variety: capoeira, volleyball, flower arrangement, calligraphy, sumo, kendo. It's a great way to get involved and get to know people. You'll be able to join one or more depending on your interest and your availability. Let's have a look at a couple of students' testimony, and this one is actually from your university. Colton actually joined the Symphony Orchestra Club in 2019. He, in fact, started getting in touch with them prior to coming to KGU. I think prior to deciding that he was coming, he was trying to find an orchestra to join. And that was the reason he chose KGU, because the symphony orchestra was responding to him and was willing to let him join for the semester. He was the first and probably the only foreigner in the club, and they welcomed him with open arms. This is the success story. Not all clubs are that welcoming, but hopefully this will happen to you as well. Another success story is Nikolai. He joined the sumo club when he was with us in 2019, and he was welcomed with open arms as well. He got 2 participate with them, practice with them, and he even got to go to a competition and compete with other universities, which was a very invaluable experience. Let's have a couple of advice for future students from past.
I would strongly suggest that students that come here try everything they can when they can, because the biggest regret you can have going home is that you didn't try something or you said no to something. When I come home to the US, I'm basically taking back the memories and experiences that I've had here at Kwansei Gakuin and in Japan.
If you consider to study in Japan and you are interested in international studies, you can choose Kangaku because this school is famous with its School of International Studies, and you can experience how to interact with Japanese students, and they also have a really open-minded people, so you are not only learn about the traditional Japanese image but also their liberal and modern perspective.
First advice will be go here, and second is be patient, and if you don't understand Japanese, that's not a problem.
Apparently that's not a problem. I would suggest that you do learn a little bit of Japanese before coming. But it is possible to survive in Japan without too much Japanese language skills. All right. Lastly, we're going to close with what they gained from their time at KG.
In Kwansei Gakuin, I learned many things, not only about language, but also soft skill and hard skills. Like the Japanese language itself could be used in many ways in life. If you're trying to get abroad, like you need to know how to cope up with Japanese traditions and Japanese cultures and how to get relations with the Japanese people. I'm international trading law student, which is I will try to make a company in export-import, and I hope that I could make a relation between Indonesia and Japan and could do a lot of projects between Indonesians and Japanese. And to implement it, I need to know how to speak Japanese language and what is Japanese culture.
Of course, as a translation student, I need to learn Japanese well to be able to translate from Japanese. But I think that like living here with, surrounded by Japanese people and international people, it's a great experience for me as a person to grow and learn as well. I was not confident, and I'm still not that confident when I speak Japanese, but I feel like every day that passes, I hear more Japanese and I have to use it as well. So whether or not, I'm getting better at talking in Japanese.
It's more about the unspoken knowledge and how to act in certain situations and thinking on a higher level.
So being here, this is going to embody meeting the people and different opinions. Usually when you're around the same environments, people like the university I go to, you tend to lean towards, I know you may have some different perspectives, but over here I've met people who have completely different perspectives on politics, and I think when I go back, that's going to open my mind that I already knew politics is a massive world, it's a big thing. However, over here just showed me how different it can get. So studying here has actually broadened my political perspective. And would I say it changed some of my political perspective? Maybe.
I want to apply what I've learned here. I want to apply the Japanese language skills that I'm learning and the knowledge of Japanese culture to, help make my marketing skills better. I would love to work on marketing things for maybe a Japanese audience or toying with that, or maybe the other way around, Japanese items to Danish customers.
All right. This is all for my presentation. We hope to see you soon at KGU. And if you have any questions, please go ahead. I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and you can either just unmute yourself or type in the chat as you prefer.
I only had one question.
Yes.
In the international dorms, I saw in the video, I don't know if there's also going to be Japanese students in those dorms, or is it solely international?
So it depends on the dorm. We have many different styles of dorms. Some are international students only. Some have a few Japanese RAs. Some are mainly Japanese, and we put a couple of international students in there. So it really depends on things. You can find more information on the dormitory page on our website that my colleague just put in the chat for you.
Thank you.
Sure. Good question. Will we be able to study abroad in the fall 2021? Well, until a week and a half ago, I would have said yes, of course. A week and a half ago, we actually had to cancel the spring semester. And I am hopeful that by fall, everything will be okay and Japan will let foreigners in. Hopefully, is all I can say. And regarding application deadlines, you'll probably want to double check with Karen about the probably university deadlines. But as for us, the full semester application documents deadline is April 15, and the spring one is November 15.
And our deadline is slightly before that. So for fall and academic year, ours is March 15th. And for spring term abroad, it's October 1st. So usually we try to have our deadline be about 2 to 4 weeks before partner deadlines. And I'll second Amina that we certainly hope that fall 2021 study abroad will be possible. Yes.
If it is not, we will most definitely offer online courses and online options, and we'd love you to join if you can. Anything else? Well, and I'll just add that if students have any follow-up questions specifically about Drake processes for applying to study abroad, or any questions about financial aid, or anything really, you can always email our study abroad email account, which is just studyabroad, all one word, @drake.edu, and you can ask any questions that you have. And thank you so much, Amina. We definitely appreciate you taking time out of your Thursday morning to chat with all of us. And sure.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure. If you have any questions, we have a lot of things on our website, and our yearly brochure will be up in a couple weeks, with a lot of updates. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to have a look at those. There are more student testimony on our YouTube channel that you can find. It's also linked on our website. All right. It was great talking to you today, and I hope we'll see you soon on campus.
Thank you, Amina. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much.